Cool. Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order and apologize for the delay. We did get the owl up and running. Let's see those papers. The connection is www.youtube.com at Town of Stony Creek. For anyone that didn't know beforehand. This is a special board meeting, and the two, well, there's a couple of items. First is approval of the bills for payment. I believe the board's had time to look at the bills. We have general fund bills in the amount of $6,420.52. Someone would like to move a resolution to
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
introduced by Councilwoman Bradley, seconded by Councilwoman Farrell. Any questions or discussion about the general fund bills for payment? If not, I'll ask the clerk to conduct a roll call vote, please.
Councilman John Thomas.
Yes.
Councilwoman Farrell.
Yes.
Councilman Nate Thomas.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bradley.
Yes.
Supervisor Thomas.
Yes. And next we have highway fund bills in the amount of $181.65.
I'll introduce it.
Introduced by Councilman Nathan Thomas,
I'll second.
seconded by Councilwoman Farrell. Any questions or discussion on those bills? If not, I'll ask the clerk to conduct a roll call vote, please.
Councilman John Thomas.
Yes.
Councilwoman Farrell.
Yes.
Councilman Nate Thomas.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bradley.
I'll abstain because part of it is mileage for Neil.
Supervisor Thomas.
Yes. I also was entertaining maybe a resolution to pay Dara Land Surveying, PLLC. Their price for the work to be done in 2025 was $14,940 for the scope of services 1 through 3, which I believe, reading them, I believe they've been done. Now, I don't know if we don't have to pay all of it, but we should probably pay her something.
What is the minimum payment required for right now?
I'm not sure about that. We could pay 50% if they have.
And this is everything but setting the corners, correct?
Right. That's, yep. That's item 4, number 4, and that's $3,595 additional.
I'll make a motion that we pay half,
Okay,
but I think we should wait on paying the whole thing.
Okay.
I believe John has a proposal that he would like to make.
all right. I'll second that. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to conduct a roll call vote, please.
Councilman John Thomas.
Yes.
Councilwoman Farrell.
Yes.
Councilman Nate Thomas.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bradley.
Yes.
Supervisor Thomas.
Yes. And I have one other item also, before we get into discussion about the proposal, and that's for, I received this from Todd Norton today. Actually, I received a bill from Remington Blacktop LLC, probably a month and a half ago, for $1,500. He showed up today, Mr. Newton did, and he paid $500 in cash, and he's asking the town to provide the other $1,000.
What was the agreement that you had for the basketball court?
I agreed to pay him $800.
And why is it more than what you agreed to pay?
I couldn't answer that. He did say that they had, the Restoration Revitalization Association paid $800 for the striping. And they also bought nets for a pickleball, because they're striping for a pickleball court. And they bought nets and a couple other things, I believe, for the park.
So that was extra on top of what was agreed.
So 5 and 8, 13. Plus maybe another 4.
And what is it that he's asking again, how much?
He's asking for
$1,000?
$1,000, yeah. They did,
And that would come out of the park?
Yep.
The Parks and Rec.
they did seal the court twice, because the first time didn't turn out too bad.
I'll make a motion.
Introduced by Councilman Bradley,
I'll second.
seconded by Councilman Nathan Thomas. Any other questions, discussion? I mean, all we had to have is his word. I told him I needed paperwork for that.
Isn't that what he submitted to?
He submitted this right here, the second sheet. This year.
There's no receipts attached to that?
Nope. Just the state invoice from Remington.
And you visibly saw the pickleball net and all that stuff, so
I haven't seen
you can
that.
confirm that it was purchased?
No, I couldn't confirm that.
Well, that changes things.
Okay.
In my opinion, anyway.
Right.
I think we should see the receipts. Once we see the proof and the receipts for the things that were purchased, then of course we have no problem paying it.
Okay.
But we're just gonna go by somebody's word without seeing the receipts and the proper paperwork. I don't think we should do that.
Right.
You agree?
I agree.
I mean, if they've got money, they raised a bunch of funds for the purpose of revitalization of the park. I mean, there's no accountability on that, but
Right, we need receipts. We need proof that those items were purchased.
So motion to table?
Yep.
I'll second that also. A vote to the table, I'll call the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? You know, be dealt with at a future date. I told him that he needed paperwork. Seems to think he can do what he wants. Guess not.
We'll pay when we see the receipts.
All righty, the last item is a proposal from Councilman John Thomas on the landfill property survey.
Okay, you want me to do it here, or you want me to go down in the audience? Whatever the lawyer suggests.
I'd recommend you recuse yourself from the board and.
Okay.
present it as a-
I can do that.
to the audience.
I'll go down here. Well, I guess my first statement is, since the town board's not gonna recognize what the town board did 50 years ago, my proposal is there's 30 acres in question. The split, that would be 15 acres. I would pay the town $500 an acre, plus an extra $500 for whatever mapping and the pins to be put in, to put the line where it is now posted. That leaves the town more acres than what they're needed for, doesn't interfere with my campground. And that's my proposal.
I'm sorry, so 500 per acre and 500 what?
500 for, they already have it surveyed and marked for the property where the posted signs are. So I don't think they have to come back in the field, they just have to put it on the map and file the map with the county and put the 2 pins in. I mean, without 2 of my surveys, I surround the property on basically 3 sides. Without the survey where my house is, you wouldn't have had anything to go from on that line. Same with the property that I bought from Lewis. If it wasn't for that survey, town wouldn't have any idea where any of their lines are. So that's what I'm proposing. And the payment would be made as soon as the map is filed at the county.
So where do you
And the
think the
pins are
line
put in.
exactly should be split, John?
What's that?
Where do you think exactly the line should be split?
Right where the posted signs are, right where it's agreed upon by the town board 50 years ago. The blazes are still there. You guys walk the property. On the upper end, you see, or I assume you see, where the old, right now it's a maroon colored paint on the trees. That's the original blaze that was done by Raymond Keys, who was hired by Jerry Mantell to survey and mark the property. And that's where the town board in 76 agreed that that's where it was going to be.
So what you're proposing is, so basically you want the 30 acres and you'll pay the town $500 per acre, which is $15,000, but yet the survey that we're paying for is $14,940. So basically what you're saying is you want the acreage and you'll pretty much basically cover the survey. Is that what you're trying to say? Because that's what it equals out to, unless I'm misunderstanding something.
The surveyor said, and it's in the minutes, that there was 30 acres in question.
Correct.
If it was recommended that be split, which would be 15 acres for the town, 15 for me. Like I said, at this point, I'm willing to pay 500 an acre and 500 for the mapping and the pins.
Okay, well, I have
But-
a proposal. I propose that the town set our markers for the 40 acres that the town owns. The town owns 40 acres. So I say we just go with our 40 acres that the town owns and leave the rest in limbo because it's not our problem. And then Warren County can deal with the 30 acres that's in limbo. As long as we get our 40 acres, and our 40 acres is mapped out where Dara has it mapped out and marked. And we just leave the rest in limbo. Warren County can deal with it.
If you do that, you
That'll be
shut,
Warren County's
if
problem.
you do that, you shut my business down, because as I showed you, right where the lines are marked where Dara has the 30 acre split, it takes my road. That's where they had it marked, that's where they had it flagged. I lose all access to my lower campground and it just shut my business down. So that's,
It doesn't touch the road.
So they're going
Right,
off
that's
the
road. That
the
doesn't
pair of
touch the
pipes
road.
that are just north or just above where the road is on
Right.
this map.
and then when that continues out through my road, turns sharply after that. I do know where they had it flagged and marked, which is on the opposite side of the road.
Okay, they're not
Which
depicting
would
that
lose,
on the
which
map.
would lose my, it's not clear, as clear on the map as it is what they had flagged down there.
Mhm.
It does take my road.
But it doesn't show on the map that it's taking your road.
It does.
The
town's-
15 acre
town's
split
40
does,
acres.
but the town's 40 acres, so the town's 40 acres.
Town's
comes-
40 acre does not.
Does not. So that's what Melissa's proposing, is that the town's 40 acres, which would come off the corner of the Oaks lot, the lot out through towards the Stony Creek. From that corner out through to the pins. So that's the deviation that Melissa's proposing for the 40 acres. So.
Well, the town's just going after 40 acres. You wouldn't end up with your full 15 acres that would be split. I will point that out to you, because you're only like 2.5 acres short of your 40. And that is mainly because if you look at the Lewis survey, which I provided before, when that comes up to a certain point, it changes angle, comes back and meets the other two properties, which used to be farmed. If that angle had been followed, the town would have their 40 acres. That's the other 2.5 acres that they got cut off.
According to the survey map here, our 40 acres is mapped out. And that's all we care about. Your posted signs are well onto our 40 acres. So I think we should just stick with the 40 acres that the town owns, period. That is cut and dry. The town owns 40 acres, cut and dry. Put our markers where our 40 acres is and leave the remaining 30 acres in limbo. Throw that ball in Warren County's court. Warren County can deal with 30 acres in limbo in Stony Creek. And that won't be the town's problem. We will have our 40 acres. And it'll be mapped. It'll be marked. properly.
Are you talking about the calculated line or the darker one?
The calculated line, I didn't see, it's on this map, but I don't have my glasses, so I have to use Zoom on my dim ones. Give me a second. So that says calculated limits of a 40-acre parcel. And that you explained as, that's what Dara had it cut out to be, as the 40 acres. correct?
Yeah.
We only show one here.
I guess it's not on that one.
Yep.
I have line it up.
We just show the calculated.
No, that one has the calculated, that one doesn't have the other one.
Yeah, that has a calculated, which is what intersects with the roads to the lower campground.
About the same.
It doesn't have the other one.
It doesn't have the,
Right, so it has a darker one.
The darker line just gives it a tip from the pins to the corner. So you're going on the calculated line or the potential boundary line, I guess would be the two differences on this map.
The calculated line is, that's that light one.
Yeah, the light one that's barely visible.
And according to the attorney, that's where Dara slated our 40 acres.
on the calculated line.
And what's the procedure for surplusing property? So we got this extra 15 acres. Is that something we need to talk about in executive session or?
It's nobody's property.
I don't have the specific answer because I'm not entirely sure how, most likely it's not parkland.
Okay.
Well, let's start there. Assuming it's not parkland and doesn't require an act of the legislature, it would be, the town has the ability to sell things for fair market value. You're confirming what is more or less fair market value of the extra property, justifying the sale price, and it would be subject to a permissive referendum.
So if we just deal with our 40 acres and the rest of it's Warren County's to deal with, then it's not, how do we?
If you're ratifying a shared boundary line
Mhm.
and it's more or less in line with what the deed has, and you're not selling something, and the argument would follow that you're simply just ratifying the boundary line without divvying up any costs and recording the map.
I was gonna say, because I believe that the line between the property states that it's based off the other deed, right? I haven't read all the deeds.
Yeah, and the problem with the deeds is it's bounded on the west by, the adjoining property owner, so wherever that line is, you have Kristen Dare's conclusion that it's arguably there. You have the line that shows, if you superimpose the tax map, where that one would be, so, a line that gives the town more or less 40 acres would be defensible as a ratifying the boundary and recording a survey that's to the benefit of the town. Whatever tax mapping does after that, it's up to Warren County tax mapping.
And their first line on their disclosure is this is just a reference, so.
So the darker line's based on the deeds, is what you're saying.
Well, the darker line is the proposed boundary line to, the deeds just state that the westerly line of Thomas Creek Campground or the landfill is Thomas Creek Campground's line.
Yeah, my understanding of the proposed boundary line, not to speak for Kristen, is that it kind of plus or minus more or less still gives you 40 acres, and it's generally a course that is similar to what has occurred in the past.
Yep.
And
Easily obtainable because it comes off the back corner of that second parcel that drops down to Stony Creek
right,
and then down to the pipes, iron pipes that are just westerly of the roads going down into the campground. So John, would you confer to the town's 40 acres? That way we don't have to figure out putting out a random vote on the land in question. I have no idea whether that's right or wrong. There's a lot of variables between the railroad bed.
Can I grab my map? See where that is?
So it would be the darker line that's the proposed boundary line. So basically it's gonna go to the 4-point intersection where the 260.-145, the back parcel of the landfill that goes to Stony Creek, or the gravel pit. And then that would set those four corners all as one.
Yeah, as long as they go from that threaded rod.
Yep.
That doesn't interfere in my road, as long as they go with that line.
So that'll constitute the town's 40 acres. We can set your posted signs back through to that line, get those pipes set, and we'll have the town's 40 acres described. Is that agreeable?
Yeah, because it doesn't interfere in my road going into the campground, and like I said, you guys
And
walked it,
technically, your
it's,
posted signs still.
it's
wouldn't be
uphill
viable
or
because
downhill.
It's not property that you own, but as long as, we get our 40 acres,
Yeah, no, it's posted signs would move back through to
would have to
the
be.
agreed upon line,
as soon as they get the pins up.
once they set those pins.
That's the darker line.
And as
The
long
darker
as they start,
line,
as long as they start from that threaded rod, it won't interfere in my road going into my lower campground.
But even so, that's not your property, that's property in question and nobody owned, but
Well, no, because his
it'll be a-
westerly boundary bounds to us. I understand what you're saying. So you're dealing with a very vaguely written deed and a whole stack of very vaguely written deeds that say that one landowner owns to the next landowner. Based off land mass, do you know how much it would cost to reassess every property lot in the town of Stony Creek to make sure that the land mass of every lot is appropriate?
Well, we're not talking about every lot in the town of Stony Creek now, are we?
Because deed says
I
60
mean-
acres, it's 60 acres.
Okay, if we start there, where do we stop? That's not our problem.
Our 40 acres, period, the town's 40 acres. leave the rest in limbo, Warren County can deal with it, right, whoever else can deal with it. Our 40 acres needs to be recorded. That's what the town owns.
To that proposed boundary line, pin to pin. So based on,
Okay.
what's that?
I'm all right with it.
Alright, based on the map in my hand,
Mm-hmm.
which John has a copy as well. The proposed boundary line to the east side of the lot, which is described by Dara, is going from the threaded rod northeast to the corner of 260-145.
Pete, how much does an acre of land go for? How much is an acre of land? How much is an acre of land?
Oh, and we're dealing with back acres here. 500 is very cheap. Even for backland. But then he's saying an additional 500 per acre, no one said per acre, but per acre for surveying coverage.
Well, the question then is the extra 15 acres between us and John's lot, or is it between Thomas Creek Campground, Adirondack Adventure Properties? Is it between Adirondack Adventure Properties and D&H Railroad, or is it between D&H Railroad and the river? So which lot's off?
This lot in the middle.
No, that's
If I can-
based off of Dara's surveying of that line. That's the potential there.
If you want me to give a little
You know,
info on that, I can.
That's what we're dealing with tonight.
I can answer part of that for you if you want me to.
Sure.
Dare stated that they did not go down to the river to find that final point down at the river because it'd be near impossible to find. I'm being told I do have an attorney. I'm being told that there's a very good possibility it could start down there. The 30 acres actually may not be on the upper end. It may be on the lower end because that point was never found. So it's a case of tracking deeds to be able to determine that for sure. But that's a possibility because that lower point at the river was never located by Dara. They went off my metal stake that's in my bottom corner where the Lewis property is, what used to be the Lewis property. That's what they went off of. And I believe that's marked on the map if you look down through.
Do you want to hear more information about this? I'm prepared.
What insight do you have?
Well, to begin with, I got a recent new deed. It's a correction deed, but I had a deed a couple of years ago and then it got corrected. And that's a deed between NIMO and Adirondack Adventurers. And it pertains to the property that they sold to the tubing company. And it contains, it's a long deed, but it contains some very interesting things because it includes the lot to the east on River Division 12. That is this portion of the property going to the river. That consists of two deeds. The first deed doesn't go to the river. It's this one here. And then there's another deed going to the river. So with a point there, you don't actually have to go to the river. But here's the problem. First of all, let me put this right out so you can take a look at it
Sure, thank you.
and see it. And you'll notice I wrote a lot of notes on there. So what I wrote was the description on the deed. And that description starts with north 76 degrees along the south line of lot 12, 923.3 feet. That's very interesting. What we're talking about is the dimension from the railroad track to this corner here, which happens to be the, from John's point of view, it would be his southeasterly corner of his property. And that dimension on the deed is 923.3 feet. On the survey that came with the deed, it has that same dimension, but it's hard to read, believe me. It's the dimension to this point here, okay? What's interesting is that that's the current tax map. When you scale that dimension, it's 600 feet. It's not 900 feet. You'll see dotted lines. I put the dotted line here where John's easterly boundary would be if that dimension was 900 feet, according to the deed. Kind of interesting. Such a discrepancy as that. Here's the deed, by the way, you can glance at it. You see, that's what I'm talking about. I measured the angles accurately with a drafting machine. And in other words, it's following this curve here is very accurate, but the dimensions should be, they measured 900 feet from the other side of the river, of the railroad track. That's off. That's interesting, and that's very annoying. But there's another dimension too. When he got up to this point here, they went back to the part of beginning, right here, 2,080 feet. That is correct to scale on the map. So what we're seeing is that deed that was done for NIMO, the survey that was done for NIMO, is inherently wrong. And you can select as accurate this dimension or that dimension. Don't care which. But how they didn't catch that, I don't know. Correct caught it in 1962. And guess what he did? Out of the blue, he put 700 feet instead of 923 feet. Where he got that, I don't know. But there's a little complication there. So anyway, when I studied this further, and I didn't do much studying, but when you look at the aerial photograph, and you can see on this aerial photograph, if you look carefully, you can see the tax lines on it. But what I wanted to show you is that westerly of about 200 feet from the line on the map, that's the tax lot line, there's a tree line. That's what John is talking about. It's on the aerial photograph, that tree line.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And 200 to 300 feet, it's hard to tell. I didn't scale it down here. But that's kind of interesting. You can see it. It's not where the line is on the map. There is no vegetation shown. Go to the west and you'll see the line. And that's all I gotta say about
A
it.
tree line. Somebody planted trees back in the 1960s. Okay?
Well, the site that you guys didn't walk, when we went down and walked, which would be from where the gate was to Threader Drive, there is 4 or 5, there's at least 4 trees that are well over 3 foot in diameter, which I don't know why Dara didn't mark them on the map. Cause she said trees of substantial size would indicate a property line. I don't know why she didn't mark them on there. They're there. You know, there's a couple of them that's 3 foot in diameter, some of them are almost 4 foot in diameter. I don't know why they're not marked on the map. I know where the other ones are going on the end that we walked
Maybe
on.
we should have a little bit more time and speak and address some things with the attorney a little more and maybe revisit this at the next meeting in January. As a board, we'll have time to get together and discuss. What do you think, Nate and Sandy? Do you guys agree with that? Do I make a decision tonight? Do I think about it a little more now that we have a proposal, we have a little bit more information before we decide anything? You guys have any input? I mean, definitely regardless, the town gets its 40 acres, period.
And 40
Because
acres,
we
do you
have
want
40
on the
acres.
proposed line or the calculated line?
Sandy, I don't got my glasses, hold on. Let me zoom back in and with my camera.
The light line or the dark line, Melissa?
The white line is the calculated line from there for the 40
Yes.
acres. Yes.
So is the proposed line 40
It says-
acres as
It
well?
says calculated on it.
Yeah, the dark line's about the same.
I was gonna say the proposed line is the same. She just screwed it or scrooged it one way and the other to
Right.
come off the road and line up with the corner.
Either one's about the same.
So.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that.
So also give us a little more time to do a little more research and discuss a little more.
And I think if John's agreeable, I'll make a motion to go with the potential boundary line as depicted on this map.
I'm agreeable.
Which equates to the town's 40 acres, as long as Derek concurs that that equates to the town's 40 acres.
And to give you some idea where that is, when we walked down there with the town board, we got up on the top, there's that cable that's hooked to the tree. It goes to that point. That gives you an idea where you're going. Where the other end is.
Yeah, I'll second that. Any further discussion? If not, I'll ask the clerk to conduct a roll call vote.
Councilwoman Farrell,
Yes.
Councilman Nate Thomas,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bradley,
Well, I guess it doesn't matter what I say at this point because it's gonna be a yes, so.
You know, that doesn't look a little bit with 2 Thomases on there and the one in the board. Well, I tell you,
Yes.
looks good. Should we go to that? Mhm.
That's all 40 acres.
The rest is,
The rest is something.
They want to know the answer.
Are we allowed to ask questions?
Any
I
other-
know, they've done it.
Any other business for,
Pardon?
I'm talking to the board, any other business for the board? Okay, yes, ma'am.
I just
State your
feel
name,
very
please.
strongly that she needs to be listened to and a deal not made tonight till we have more direct information. You are
We've
a
been looking at this
prejudiced
for
group, to be honest,
months.
and you all stick together. And
Last board
that's why
meeting.
she's
Don't
not
look
being
good.
listened to.
Don't look good, last board meeting. Snuck it right through.
Don't think anything through.
I mean, Pete had a little
You just had more information, you guys still voted
a
for it.
little bit.
Yeah, we had
You should have had more
We had
information. You just said there's more information. Could have, should have went.
You don't have the
Well,
floor.
guess what? You're not supervisor no more after tonight, are you, Frank?
Well, I am right
See
now.
you later. Thank God. You and John, best
Find
thing
the
that ever
door.
happened.
Find the door. Yes,
There is more information on this, you just have to dig on it. But it seems like you don't want to see it,
Yeah.
and it's very disappointing to me that you just want to plow it through. There is information here, I guarantee it.
You research a lot, you know.
Yeah, I know.
And I got something to say too. John keeps throwing out, just so it's for the record, when John throws out that Neil says there's no gravel there, well, if we had 15 more acres or even 4 more acres, we only have a 5 or 6 acre mining lot to begin with. So you guys just possibly, you didn't make any decisions tonight on 30 acres, but if that ever comes back, there's potential gravel in there. There's thousands of dollars in gravel in there that you guys are giving away, possibly. You guys should be fighting for that. Like,
Nobody owns that.
I know, but the
spot
town should be
anymore.
fighting for it somehow. Don't care, if it's vacant, and nobody owns it, the town should be fighting for it. There's potential gravel in there, thousands of dollars of gravel in there we haven't got to yet. So we exhausted this site, now you got sand yet and gravel that can go down. What I'm trying to say is, he keeps saying, it's not worth it for what we have. But if we had more land, absolutely we could gravel. Just saying this cheaper, I don't like him throwing that around what I'm saying, he's twisting stuff that I say out of context.
I didn't twist it, it's right from the town board minutes.
It's what I'm
stated-
saying, then I'll
It's you stated
clarify,
that it was
there's not enough on the property right now
Address
to
your
gravel.
remarks up here.
What's that?
I said address your remarks.
Okay, there's the gravel, there is gravel and dirt in that whole 15, if you divided 15 acres, there's quite a bit of gravel there that could be considered. You can't just go $500 an acre. There's money in the ground right there, you understand? So you guys just threw away anything without any discussion and thinking about it. You just made a decision, Nate, that's your problem. You always just seem to just throw stuff out there. You got 3 board members up there with the same name, whether or not, it just doesn't even look good that you made the decision tonight. I don't care if it's right or wrong and you made the right decision, it doesn't look good. You got 3 Thomases up there, you guys have ruled the town, I'm speaking right now. You ruled this town for how many years? Finally, the rule is done. As soon as we get Nate out of here, town board will be a lot better. Hopefully, we can all start working together with John O'Neill and get some stuff done. That's what I got to say. Good riddance.
Regardless, the one thing that was satisfied tonight was the town's 40 acres that the town should have and does have.
That's the only thing we agreed on.
Why wasn't I answered?
Might not, maybe it shouldn't even agreed on that.
Mr. LaGrasse.
You could deed the property to John and reserve the mineral rights and mine it. And he doesn't care about the mineral rights, he just cares about his road.
Yeah, that could have been a
Not deeding
decision
anything to
made.
anybody. Nobody knows, we got our 40 acres.
All she asked for was a month to think about this. And you can't even give a month.
We got our 40, regardless, we're gonna get our 40. Warren County can deal with the remaining land in limbo.
Anyone else?
Yeah, budget adjustments to do, I come back up.
Yep.
Okay.
I have budget adjustments for the general fund and for the highway fund. The first one is to debit the general fund balance, $19,132.20. And to credit appropriation A1110.1 Justice Personnel, $243.25. Credit appropriation A5010.4 Superintendent Contractual, $45.57. Credit appropriation A1620.1 Buildings Personnel, $948.64. Credit appropriation A 7110.1 Parks, $649.08. Credit appropriation A 8160.4 Refuse Contractual, $14,940. And the last one is the credit appropriation A 9030.8 Social Security 2,305.76.
I'll move that. We do that.
I'll second.
Introduced by Councilman John Thomas, seconded by Councilwoman Bradley. Any discussion? Ask the clerk to conduct a roll call vote, please.
Councilman John Thomas?
Yes.
Councilwoman Farrell?
Yes.
Councilman Nate Thomas?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bradley?
Yes.
Supervisor Thomas?
Yes. And next is the highway fund, and that's to debit DA anticipated revenue, 3501, improvement, $39,210.94. Credit appropriation DA 5112.2, improvement, $39,210.94.
I'll introduce it.
I'll second.
Introduced by Councilman Nathan Thomas, seconded by Councilwoman Bradley. Ask the clerk to conduct a roll call vote.
Councilman John Thomas?
Yes.
Councilwoman Farrell?
Yes.
Councilman Nate Thomas?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bradley?
Yes.
Supervisor Thomas?
Yes. Anything else? Motion
Does
to
it matter?
adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make it motion.
Nothing matters.
I'll second.
Hmm.